Hey guys, I made a post earlier that said to fill up your gas tanks, and I had a couple of people asking me why I was saying that, and it really has dawned on me that I keep my nose in the news way more than people should and is healthy, so nobody knew what I was talking about. Just to briefly explain it to you guys real quick, over the past couple of months, they have been hinting at a looming gas shortage that was going to be coming this summer, not because of a lack of gasoline, not because of the prices, but because of a lack of truck drivers, that we were going to be seeing individual gas stations out of gas because they were unable to get the deliveries done. Okay, so when they are implanting that into the psyche, you know that they're planning on this looming gas shortage in the summer. That having been there, whenever I saw this article, I realized that this is probably going to be the jumping off point for our summer of no gasoline. Cyber attack forces a shutdown of a top U.S. pipeline. So everybody on the East Coast needs to know that now we have a problem getting from the distribution centers to the gas stations because of a lack of truck drivers. And now we're going to have a supply line problem, getting it from the refineries to the distribution centers and getting it to the refineries. This is a pretty savage 1-2 hit that I think is probably going to affect the East Coast. A cyber attack forced the shutdown of one of the largest pipelines in the United States in what appeared to be a significant attempt to disrupt vulnerable energy infrastructure. The pipeline carries refined gasoline and jet fuel up the East Coast from Texas to New York. The operator of the system, Colonial Pipeline, said in a statement late Friday that it had shut down its 5,500 miles of pipeline, which it says carries 45% of the East Coast's fuel supplies, in an effort to contain the breach on its computer networks. Earlier Friday, there were disruptions along the pipeline, but it was unclear whether that was a direct result of the attack or the company's moves to proactively halt it. Colonial Pipeline has not indicated whether its systems were hit by ransomware, in which hackers hold a victim's data hostage until it pays a ransom, or whether it was another form of cyber attack. But the shutdown of such a vital pipeline, one that has been serving the East Coast since the 1960s, highlights the huge vulnerability of aging infrastructure that has been connected, directly or indirectly, to the internet. In coming weeks, the administration is expected to issue a broad-ranging executive order to bolster security of federal and private systems after two major attacks from Russia and China in recent months caught American intelligence agencies and companies by surprise. So now we're starting to see a narrative being driven by the intelligence agencies around this, and you can tell that they have their dog in the hunt as well. Colonial's pipeline transports 2.5 million barrels each day, taking refined gasoline, diesel fuel, and jet fuel from the Gulf Coast up to New York Harbor and New York's major airports. Most of that goes into major storage tanks, and with energy use depressed by the CV pandemic, the attack was unlikely to cause any immediate disruptions. In the statement, the company said that it learned on Friday that it was the victim of a cyber security attack, but it provided no details. And we're not going to hear what happened immediately because the intelligence agencies are going to be looking into this before they let us regular folk get to know anything about the situation. It said it had contacted law enforcement and other federal agencies. The FBI leads such investigations, but critical infrastructure is the responsibility of the Department of Homeland Security's Cyber Security and Infrastructure Security Agency. This is CISA. Remember, we were talking about CISA over what went on in November of 2020. An administration official said that an investigation into the episode was in the very early stages, and that it was unclear whether the attacker was a nation or a criminal group. At times, they work in concert. People familiar with the investigation said the early indications were that it was a ransomware attack and that the events had been unfolding for several days. The company has hired the private cybersecurity firm FireEye, which responded to the hacking of Sony Pictures Entertainment energy facility breaches in the Middle East and many federal government incidences. The company appears to have brought down activity on the pipeline on Friday to prevent the hackers from inflicting more damage, but that left open the question of whether the attackers themselves now have the ability to directly turn the pipelines on or off or trigger operations that could cause an accident. It is unclear how long the pipeline will be shut down, and so far the effect on fuel prices has been small, with gasoline and diesel futures rising about 1% on the New York Mercantile Exchange on Friday. Prices for regular gasoline at the pump in New York State rose on Saturday by a penny to $3 from $2.99. Over the past week, gasoline prices have risen nationwide by 6 cents as global oil prices have risen rapidly. It's a serious issue, said Tom Cloza, the global head of energy analysis at Oil Price Information Service. It could snarl things up because it is the country's jugular aorta for moving fuel from the Gulf Coast up to New York. Prices at the pump could be affected in different ways depending on the region. If there is a prolonged shutdown, Alabama north through Baltimore will potentially see shortages. However, Midwestern and Ohio Valley states could actually benefit from the cheaper shipments from the Gulf refineries as the plants divert stranded supplies. Colonial Pipeline, based in Alpharetta, Georgia, is owned by several American foreign companies and investment firms, including the Koch Industries and Royal Dutch Shell. The pipeline connects Houston and the Port of New York and New Jersey and also provides jet fuel to most of the major airports, including Atlanta and D.C. But actual attacks on the energy systems are rare. About a decade ago, Iran was blamed for an attack on the computer systems of Saudi Aramco, one of the world's largest oil producers, which destroyed 30,000 computers. That attack, which appeared to be in response to the American-Israeli attack on Iran's nuclear centrifuges, did not affect operations. Notice how the only way that they admit that the United States was the first country to do this to another country is in passing, while they're centering on Iran's response to our attack on them. So, once again, we have a kind of confusing article. An article that says there's not going to be any effect to the supply, an article that says that we're above our 2019 levels, and an article that says that it's possible that everywhere from Alabama to DC experiences fuel shortages. One thing that is true is that there could be fuel price drops in areas where they try to divert the stranded goods. But in general, it's probably pretty smart to stop at the gas pump and fill your tank. And that's why I said that earlier today, you guys. I really and truly believe that when you start seeing these narratives build on each other, and this is a building narrative towards this summer of gasoline shortages, kind of like in the 70s, I guess, in Carter. This narrative is forming, and it's my job to warn people. So you have been warned. Love you guys. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Catch y'all next time. Peace.